Hey guys, it's your 3.2 notes. So if you're watching this and taking notes, then that means you've completed all of the activities for section 3.1. And we're going to move on to the next section. And we have a couple different learning objectives here. We want you to be able to solve inequalities, graph inequalities, and translate. So these are two things that we've already done. You did in 3.1. This is the new element. We want you to be able to solve for those. And I'm going to teach you how to do that here. So let's just recap a little bit. Remember our symbols. So less than looks like this. Less than or equal to has that line. Greater than, and then greater than or equal to. Okay? So these have specific ways you're going to graph. These two, what they have in common is that you're always going to have a closed circle when you see those symbols. These two, you're going to have an open circle because it's not going to be equal to the number that you're graphing. And then these are going to be the same direction that you shade. So if it's less than, then you're going to shade to this side of your number. And if it's greater than or equal to, you're going to shade everything bigger. Okay? So that's how you graph, but let's figure out how to solve these inequalities now. So solving inequalities are a lot like solving equations, which you guys are familiar with. I don't know what I wanted to put here. The blank of the solutions is different. Oh, the number of solutions. So remember what we talked about before. Equations have one answer and that's it. Inequalities have tons of answers. So that's the only difference. So let's practice what you know. You know how to solve equations. You guys are masters at it by this point. Remember, you want to get that x by itself. So 3x equals 12, divide by 3. You guys could do this in your sleep by now, hopefully. So x is equal to 4. That's what we're used to, okay? This is the same problem except for that inequality symbol. So you're going to do the same thing for this type of problem. Same process, exactly. So 3x, except you're not going to put the equal sign this time. So remember to keep that inequality in there. Divide by 3, just like over on the other example. Same thing, except your answer has that inequality symbol. In this equation, our answer is 4. That's the answer. In this problem, our answer could be anything that's bigger than 4. That's the only difference for solving equations and inequalities. Okay, so let's practice some of them, and then let's practice also how to graph them. So for the first one here, you can draw your line if you'd like to, but remember we want to get this x all by itself. So in order to do that, we're going to do the opposite, starting with that 2. So we're going to subtract 2 on both sides. So we have x over 3 is greater than negative 6. Remember, this is division, so the opposite of dividing is going to be to multiply that 3 on both sides. So we get x is greater than negative 18. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing it's not too bad because we know how to solve equations. We just got to remember not to put that equal sign there. So if you have to graph it, remember how we do that. We start with your 0 in the middle, a positive 18 on this side, and a negative 18 on this side. So our answer is negative 18. It's just greater than, so it's an open circle. And I'm going to shade everything that's bigger than that. So I'm going to go to this side. Okay? Then we go up. Let's solve the other one. So we have 10x plus 1 is greater than negative 19. So we want to get the x alone. So we're going to do the opposite. So we have 10x is greater than negative 20. Still need to get that x all alone, so I'm going to keep doing the opposite operations and divide this time. So x is greater than negative 2. Okay, we've totally done problems like that with equations. Now we got to graph it. So we have our 0 in the middle, positive 2 on this side, negative 2 on this side. Our answer is greater than again, so I have an open circle. And we're going to shade everything greater than negative 2. All right. Whoops, too far. Sorry, making you sick. All right, this last one is a little weird because hopefully you see that you have two variables. So this is a problem where you have variables on both sides. So before you start trying to get a variable by itself, we need to get them on one side. So remember, left is best. So we want to get this 4x on one side with this 5x. So we're going to subtract that 4x. So now I'm left with 1x is less than 9. We could divide by 1 on both sides, but we know that this is the same thing as x is less than 9. Okay? So sometimes you might have variables on both sides that you have to solve for. So if we go to graph this, we're going to have 0 in the middle, positive 9, negative 9. So we are going to have another open circle at positive 9. We're going to shade everything that's smaller than 9. Okay? All right, next page here is going to be where you try it on your own. So what I want you to do is I want you to solve these inequalities, okay, one by one. This one has variables on both sides. And then I want you to fill out the form underneath here with the questions. You're going to put your answers for each one of these, and that will see if you know how to do it or not. All right, so good luck. Let me know if you have any questions about this section.